I just tried to take what the defense gave me, make the right plays. My teammates did a good job of, being in position when the defense collapsed. Made it easy for me to kick out, and when they didn't collapse or when I feel like I can get to my spots, I just tried to be aggressive to score. So I got to cut down on my turnovers, obviously, but overall, I just try to play the game the right way and make the right plays and make everybody else better as well.
What's been the difference? Is it the shots they're taking?
I think Tibbs is from the start of training camp did a great job of implementing just like his system of how we want to play. We don't have to second guess where we're going to be at on the floor. We got great spacing, and we know if the defense collapse, I can depend on whoever it is to cut or to be in the right spacing and just make the easy play. So we're all just trying to make the easy play, trying to make the right play and play for each other, play unselfish.
I am so happy that I finally get to make this video. It's been decades since we have been able to take the New York Knicks as the slightest bit relevant in the NBA. But recently, one individual was able to come in and completely shift the culture of the New York Knicks. And it starts out at the very top, from the former agent Leon Rose hiring Tom Thibodeau, that is notorious for harsh practices and discipline and defense. And it continues into the coaching staff that went as far as to help Julius Randle and Barrett take the next step in their games. So what's going on, guys? Your boy Mike here, back again with another video. I just want to remind you guys we're giving away a PlayStation 5 to one lucky subscriber that subs and hits the notification bell on this channel. Whether you're an old subscriber or a new subscriber, if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, then you have entered for a chance to win a PlayStation 5. If you want additional entries, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? If there's been one surprise so far this year, it's the fact that the New York Knicks are actually above 500 after a preseason that saw many Knicks fans calling for Julius Randle's head, literally not even asking for him to be traded, but rather released, after yet another coaching staff has come in a revolving door of coaching staffs. It appears as though the New York Knicks have finally fixed their cultural issues. And it's very promising because the approach that they're taking in building their team doesn't revolve around bringing in superstar players, because until you establish a good culture for yourself, you're not going to have a superstar decide to come over and play in your large market. Once the New York Knicks are able to establish a culture for themselves, then you're going to see things like star players going over there in free agency. The only exception to this is when LeBron James went to the Lakers. LeBron James went to the Lakers even though their stock was at an all-time low. Anthony Davis still committed to the Lakers even though things were looking bad despite LeBron James being there. That's an outlier. But when you look at a team like the Miami Heat, players want to play for Miami. Jimmy Butler left, in my opinion, a better situation on paper with the Philadelphia 76ers to join the Miami Heat just because of their culture. Montrezl Harrell left the Los Angeles Clippers for the Los Angeles Lakers because, well, the Clippers didn't offer him a contract apparently, but a huge reason why he wanted to do that is because he felt like the culture for the Lakers was significantly better, and he's even said that in a recent interview. So now that the cultural issues are fixed for the New York Knicks, now we can take a look at why two of their most promising players, Julius Randle and Barrett, and even Mitchell Robinson and a bunch of their other players, are performing so well this year. And it all starts with their head coaching staff. We already know Tom Thibodeau is the head coach, but Kenny Payne was added as an assistant coach. Now, Kenny Payne has a relationship with Julius Randle already because he was coaching centers in Kentucky University, which was the university that Julius Randle attended after high school. Throughout his career, Kenny Payne was kind of known as a big man whisperer of sorts, and that makes a lot of sense considering how many superstar big men came out of Kentucky. Now, the reason why this is important is you can see Kenny Payne's influence straight in Julius Randle's game, because one of the things that Kenny Payne likes to emphasize in his players is that all big men should be able to move like a guard and finish like a big. And if you look at the way Julius Randle has been playing so far, given his stat line, that's exactly what he's been doing. The New York Knicks have essentially been playing through Julius Randle, and as a result of that, Julius Randle has been finally reaching his potential as the primary ball handler for the New York Knicks, which results in him being a triple-double threat every single time he steps foot on the floor. And that's the main thing Kenny has definitely focused on for Julius Randle, as prior to this season, Julius Randle's assist percentage has ranked in the 86th percentile or better amongst big men. While that rate has never really seen above 20%, it currently sits at 31.1%. That ranks second best amongst all players at his position, and the only man that Julius is currently trailing is another big man that's notorious for his ability to distribute the rock, and that's Nikola Jokic. Tom Thibodeau even went out to say that he has a pretty good understanding of his teammates and what their strengths are, and he's playing unselfishly, and that's probably the biggest thing. And Tibbs is absolutely right in regards to Julius Randle's unselfish play, because Julius Randle would pass the ball on 31.3% of his drives in 2019 to 2020, and that number has nearly doubled to 58.6% for draw and kick opportunities since the new season began. Even further analytics indicate that out of 18 of Julius Randle's elbow touches so far this season, he has only taken 4 field goal attempts but has passed the ball 12 times. In fact, when he operates on the elbow, he has 7 assists and just 1 turnover thus far. So the main thing that's been absolutely crucial for Julius Randle is his willingness to drive and kick and his willingness to pass out of bad opportunities and create for his teammates. Julius Randle currently ranks second in the Eastern Conference with 9.1 post-ups per game. And that's a pretty big deal because in order to defend Julius Randle, he's going to demand a decent amount of attention every single time he catches the ball in the post. And that means way more space for perimeter shooters to operate. And as a matter of fact, Reggie Bullock, who is one of those perimeter threats, came out and said this about Randle, saying that Julius has been in great position to be able to find other players when they collapse on him on defense. He's a talented offensive player that's going to draw double teams. I think this year he's doing the right thing, finding his teammates and not forcing anything. He's one of the leaders on this team, and we need for him to make plays for others. When you compare Randle from last year to this year, last year Julius Randle has averaged 1.6 post-up passes and 0.4 post-up assists per 36 minutes. Julius would opt for a pass on just 32.6% of his post-ups. Now this year, he's averaging 4.3 passes and 1.1 assists per 36 minutes, and during these situations, he passes on 54% of these plays. Now let's take a look at this play over here against the Indiana Pacers. You can see that Julius Randle is demanding a ton of attention and a double team from the Pacers side of the floor. Meanwhile, he sees RJ Barrett's hands wide open because he has a wide open corner 3. He's able to not only make the pass, but he was able to react to this situation fairly quickly. And this isn't the only time that the New York Knicks were able to pull this off against the Indiana Pacers. As a matter of fact, the New York Knicks run multiple pick and roll sets in order to get Julius Randle in a situation where he will draw a double team, which would result in a shooter being open, and in this scenario it was RJ Barrett, which would result in a high percentage uncontested 3. And that's where we get to the RJ Barrett portion of the video, because I know a lot of you guys are wondering, how does this affect RJ Barrett and how is he improving so much? Because if you guys remember, RJ Barrett was a all-rookie team snub. Typically when that happens, it means your career isn't getting off through the greatest start. But so far this season, RJ Barrett has been holding an average of 18.3 points on 40% shooting with 8 rebounds and 4 assists per game. And while RJ Barrett has shown some improvement, the thing that's going to be the difference between RJ Barrett succeeding in the NBA and potentially becoming a star or a fringe star is his ability to consistently make jump shots from the perimeter. And so far, although he has averaged more points per game, game, I think that has more to do with the quality of shots he's been taking, because so far he has been attempting more three-pointers per game, although we have a much smaller sample size, but he's been shooting 24% from three when he's been averaging almost 5 three-pointer attempts per game, and converting the same amount of three-point attempts as he did last year, which is 1.1 when he would attempt 3.5 three-pointers per game. His field goal percentage for the most part seems to be the exact same, but Tom Thibodeau trusts in his ability to develop RJ so much that he still plays him in heavy minutes. The result is on every other part of the floor. RJ has shown an improvement in his ability to rebound and to make the right basketball play and potentially get some assists. He does have the right developmental coach behind him in order to try to take the next step. And we've seen Tom Thibodeau work wonders with players like Derrick Rose, but RJ Barrett isn't necessarily Derrick Rose. So the main reason why Barrett has improved so much is mainly because of the scheme that he's been placed in and Julius Randle's stellar play. However, I can't help but feel like there's a better player that could be occupying that position more often than less, because there's a reason why RJ is open at the perimeter so often, and it's because defenses know that he's not that remarkable of a three-point shooter. Regardless if you're a New York Knicks fan, you have a ton to be excited about, because the Knicks are finally playing good, high-quality basketball. Are there some holes in the scheme? Most definitely, but what scheme doesn't have holes in it? The important thing is that they're playing good basketball and they're at least watchable for the time being. Let me know in the comment section down below, where do you think the Knicks are going to finish? Do you think Julius Randle deserves the most improved player of the year? Aside from that, I'm your boy TheFlightMike, and I'm dropping her mic until our next upload.